really need to be cooking dinner with those green beans, but we're gonna do a garden tour because it's just so nice out and I haven't updated in a while. All right, so here we go. All right, I'm trying to remind myself to keep this short and sweet. This is the garden. My husband actually got some drone footage because he had to sell it, sell the drone and make sure that it was still working. So I might try to include some of that in here because it'll give a much better understanding of where the garden is at. This, I want to say, is like Rudbeckia. I really don't know. I'll go ahead and look that up, but it's finally blooming. It's super tall. I would say that's probably 4 feet. So it makes a really nice, dramatic, also hidden kind of spot at the entrance. We have some strawberries. These are ever-bearing, so occasionally I'll get like 1 or 2. We have some thyme. The dill is all pretty much gone to seed. But I've been using it to make a bunch of tzatziki sauce. These are some of the green bean areas. I have more green bean areas, more green beans, and then through this we have some random volunteer green beans. This is more of my perennial, not perennial, my herb garden, I guess perennial. And then we have not pears, oh my gosh, we have peaches. Like, every time I try to think ahead, I end up not mispronouncing, just missaying something. Anyways, that's just the nature of who I am. Oh, this is Lou. So we did end up adopting a dog. We've been looking for one for a while. My husband is allergic, so we had to specifically look out for poodles or doodles. We were debating getting a puppy because, let's be honest, puppies are cute. But I have always grown up with rescues, and it was just kind of on my heart to try to do that. Also, it is a lot less expensive. However, you are gambling on the genetics of it, and I don't mean like coloring or stuff like that, but like the health of the animal. You don't know if they're going to have some kind of like inbred health issue that a puppy with papers that's certified like, hey, no bloodlines have crossed and things, they're gonna end up being more healthy. So just something that we were thinking about. But there was a like faux puppy mill. Someone was running a puppy mill out of their house, and 191 doodles were rescued, and Lieutenant, we call him Lou, was one of them. So we were able to scoop him up, and he's been so cute. It makes us really happy that we can provide him like a happy end, or a happy rest of his life rather, because the beginning sucked. He was pretty much in a kennel for like 1.5 years of his life. So he's loving life. He just wants to get inside right now because that's where my husband's at. He is attached to my husband. But anyways, we did get a dog. While I am here, I do want to mention Fenwick. Fenwick passed away. A raccoon attacked him. I brought him to the vet to get it cleaned out, but it was a lot worse than what I had initially seen. And they also said that he had FIV, which is an autoimmune disease that cats get when they fight another cat, mate, spit, like that type of stuff, any transfer of fluids. And since I live in like pretty much a neighborhood with lots of strays, it was kind of inevitable that he got it. But I asked the vet what she would do if this were her cat, and she said it'd be a miracle if he could make it out from the raccoon wound, because it was like, feel free to skip this part, but it was like a deep tissue hole in the back of his leg. There were maggots in it. It was really bad. But she just recommended putting him down because it'd be a miracle if he could make it out. And if he did make it out from that, he'd still be suffering from the FIV for however long. And Fenwick does not take pills. So we ended up having to put him down. He wasn't even 3. We almost had him a full year, but not quite. So I definitely have a lot of guilt about that. But I don't want you to think that like when we got Lou killed the cat or something like that, because it's 2 unrelated things. But anyways, so wanted to mention that you won't be seeing Fenwick on here anymore because he did pass away. we do have a nice spot in the garden for him. I'm not planting him in like vegetable garden spaces because that would, like, the roots then would, doesn't matter. Anyways, we're gonna make a new garden bed for him and put like a flower over him. He liked to chew my catmint, so I might put some catmint out front, which I feel like would be appropriate. But anyways, that's Lou, and that's the story of Fenwick. And we're gonna keep doing the garden tour. We're not gonna be sad because it's a beautiful day. We're moving on, and we're gonna do a garden tour. All right, I really don't know how to like move on from that, but we have sunflowers. Don't know if I zoomed in on them before, but here we go. Really pretty. And a volunteer marigold. I highly recommend marigolds because they are really beneficial for keeping like mosquitoes and stuff at bay, and they're just so pretty. And that, I think, okay, did it do it? Okay, sorry, my phone keeps messing up. I think that's a caterpillar. I gotta figure out what kind, but this is anise hyssop. This is my asparagus bed. I have not pulled from this because you're supposed to wait a few years for the roots to develop. That is a volunteer Cosmo and volunteer zinnia and some foxglove. I did weed this. I can throw in that clip because it was kind of insane. Can't believe I caught that. I just found a random or a volunteer tomato plant. I'm so excited about that. I'm gonna try to clear this out. I cleared out over there. These are the onions. That's Lou. Zinnias. Yeah, I'm gonna try to clean this out because that was so encouraging. And then I'm gonna try to. Ooh, here's another. So yeah, I'm gonna try to train this and make it not so wild. Although there is beauty in the wild, for sure. But yeah, so this is the status now. I'm slowly preparing for the fall garden. And I don't know if I showed this before, but just in case not, my volunteer pumpkin. Here's some figs. Everything has a dustiness on them because my husband just vacuumed. Nope, he did the lawn. He mowed the lawn. Figs. I cleared this out. How good does that look? These are the tomatoes, and these are midnight snacking tomatoes, something like that. If you've never had one of these before, they're so good. They are like purple on the top, that's their anthocyanide, and then you have the red on the bottom. The purple is going to come around whenever wherever the sun touches, so that's why you see it on the top of the tomato but not on the bottom. But where you have the stem, if I can do this one-handed, I can. There we go. Okay, well that's a really bad example, but it's supposed to create a little star, and it's super cute. I might have a picture or a video of another one, but very good. I just stand here forever and just keep eating. But we have to keep going. Alright, so tomatoes galore. I don't know if I did anything different in this bed. They both had onions in it previously. But yeah, this one's not producing at all. It is a different variety though, so that could be it. Here's my basil. And then I think this might be either watermelon, pumpkin, or cantaloupe. That will be a surprise when we get there. And I did plant some butterfly pea, which is supposed to be used in tea. And there's something cool where if you put it in lemon juice, it'll actually change the color from like bright purple to bright pink. This is the greenhouse. My husband Bill, I still have to do a garden tour video or a greenhouse tour video, but I don't want to put any food items in here because of the paint and the treated wood. So it's an excuse for me to plant lots of pretty flowers, and I love them. They are just gorgeous. Gorge. Ooh, look at that one. Gorgeous. Anyways, I do think it'd be cool to have more colors. It's kind of cool. It's on its way out. But for now it's just pink. Okay. This is my pride and joy so far. Up top, I want to say this is serpentine, but I will put the right one up on the screen. This is a gourd. It's very fuzzy, including the leaves. And I have not had any issues with squash vine bugs, at least a lot less than the other ones. My husband, I think, just came outside. Anyways, hang on. Babe, you gotta look at this squash over here. And I am filming, but you gotta look at this. You gotta look at this. Look how pretty these are.
Hey, happy guy.
Okay, ready? Look how much that grew.
What?
Right?
My goodness.
You okay being on this, by the way?
I guess so.
Okay.
It's too late now.
How much would you say this has grown? Since yesterday. Since yesterday?
8 inches, I think.
And then this one too.
Yeah, probably about the same.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. It's going to get as like long as basically this whole tunnel. So
I'll refrain from phallus jokes.
We have a bunch of volunteer green beans. I did leave some of the smaller ones so that we could have more side dishes. We're having green beans tonight.
All right.
I know you're fasting, but you'll have it tomorrow.
Okay.
I like you being in the videos. This is fun.
You'll have to run it by me first.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a butterfly on here and he's Sisop. More green beans, but again, I left the smallest one for a lot of harvest later. He's a tired boy. He's very cute. There's so many, this is loofah. There's so many loofah vines that I'm trying to train this one up here. And then my husband did put a board, it fell, but he did put a board over here so that way it's a little bit more walkable. Let's see if he goes after the ball. If he's too tired, he doesn't. I haven't been doing much with the chamomile. That might just be a next year thing, but yes. Okay, eggplant. Eggplant is doing great. Okay, here's one. Here's more. Back there, there's just a bunch. But we still do have some of the flea beetles. I think though, oh, there's like a nice pretty white one back there. If it'll focus. Anyways, it's back there. And there's more here. I do just want to remind everyone what my eggplants looked like last year. I think I had one that literally was egg-sized. It did not look good at all, and that's because the flea beetles just completely attacked it. It was my first time growing eggplant, so I didn't realize that this would be an issue. Getting more of the loofah back here than anything. Two things I did. I didn't cover these at all, but I did do diatomaceous earth, which is ground up seashells. It gets into the exoskeleton of the bugs, and then they have to shed the exoskeleton. So now they don't have anything protecting them from other predators or the weather. So that helped, but it only works for things that have exoskeleton. So it's not like an end-all be-all organic solution. It only works for exoskeleton things. And then I also did kaolin powder because it makes the leaves a little bit harder to chew through. Actually, I did two more things. I chose varieties that have thicker leaves that are not as susceptible to damage. The Black Beauty eggplant is the most susceptible one. I've mentioned this before, I'm pretty sure. So I made sure not to go with that. And then the fourth thing was I did have a trap crop, and that was my potatoes. I still got a really good potato harvest. I think I have a picture. I'll put that in here. But I let my potatoes be eaten by the flea beetles, so that way it took less, it took away from the damage of the eggplant. So that was really successful. I'm going to try that again next year. I'm hoping that I won't have a huge population, because what you're really supposed to do is like vacuum them up, or chop and burn the plants that do have them, but I didn't do that. So I just have to be careful. And yeah, but it worked out great this year, and we've had lots of baba ganoush. It's really good. I want to try to make eggplant parm with this next batch that's coming through. So I'm feeling successful. Speaking of successful, this is where a lot of my cucumbers came from. I actually had to thin this out because there were so many. You can see some more really ripe ones. And then right there, there is one that is growing. It's good. There's another one. I really liked the Katrina. Oops, this is the Katrina cucumber. It will get a lot bigger than this, but it's not spineless. There's no spikes, thorns, whatever you call it, on it. So it's a lot nicer to pick and to work with than the Boston pickling cucumbers that I also have on here. I have Joe's long cayenne pepper and some, oh, and I have jalapenos and Thai basil. One day I'd like to try to make Thai curry. Italian, Calabrian chili peppers, natapinos. Probably should not plant that in the same bed because I will forget which is which. And then a mustard that I'm trying to create like mustard out of. Here are my echinacea, which are also just gorgeous. I think these are one of my favorite flowers. I hear deer. I don't know where they are. They do look kind of poopy right now, but I just love like when they are in full bloom and are looking healthy. I love the different colors, but this pink is just gorgeous. So this is echinacea, which echinacea you can also use for medicinal purposes. I'm pretty sure it's good for colds, but I just love it. And sage. What was that? Okay, a tree just came down, not on our property, someone else's. I think it's okay though, hopefully that was on purpose. Anyways, I took all the onions out, so I'm gonna prep this for fall things, but I'm not quite sure what. There's some more beans, volunteer marigold, volunteer basil, foxglove. This is where the potatoes were. I took those out. So this is the potato bed, and then that's the eggplant bed. And so I figured since they're close enough to each other, the potatoes would be a good trap crop, and it was. I have sown some, I'm pretty sure these are pumpkins, but honestly they could be watermelon. I hope it's pumpkins because I love growing them. And then I do have some bell peppers over here. That's like a grocery store size, which is nice. The majority of mine look like this, but this one, as long as I don't pick it, much bigger. So hopefully that one continues to grow. That's a volunteer marigold. This is a purple basil, but some of the basil has like striping and other basil is just green, but it's all one plant, which is kind of cool. So there's a little bit of variation. This bed I have to weed. I tried doing it a little bit and I want to mess with it. I don't think I like this plant here because I feel like I can't do anything with that space. More basil, dahlia, nasturtiums. Oh, and then tomatoes all along the back that really haven't done much so far. Basil, rosemary. This plant, by the way, I don't remember what this is. I got it at my local nursery. It is very pretty and very tall, but I don't remember what it is. This is a blue, not hollyhock. This is a blue, I'm forgetting the name of that, but it was in my wedding bouquet. This is a native thyme. See how large that gets? That's probably 3 to 4 foot tall. In the during the daytime, this is like filled with bees. Then we have the corn bed, and it's 3 sisters. So there are some watermelon and then also some beans. The beans, oh, I'm forgetting the variety. Oh, Cherokee Trail of Tears. And then the corn I think is like Buell corn. It's got 2 ears on it, so I figured it'd be good for like a small space to get more out of it. And then the watermelon, I have 3 different kinds, but this one is the Moon and Stars. I don't think this is getting enough space to be able to do much. And then some of the corn is much taller, and that is because that's where Fenwick pooped, and they're getting fed a lot better. And that's the back side, and that goes to the other side of the greenhouse. Some random volunteer marigolds, and then this area, which I have a new idea for. So currently we have 4 garden beds, but if you notice, they are like pulling apart, and like this is probably 1 foot here but 2 foot here. It's not doing well, and that's because the shorter the wood is, the more likely it is to warp. But my taller 12-inch boards haven't warped at all, which is great. So I also feel like I don't use this as effectively as I could. It's almost like too much space. So we're going from 4 beds down to 2 beds, but we are going to make them wider. These beds are currently about, I think they're about 2 foot. They might be 2.5 feet wide by like 4 inches tall. And because we have clay soil, we are not getting the best produce compared to my 12-foot beds. Ooh, did I lose you guys? Okay, we're good. I keep getting the low battery warning. So when I'm planning out my garden, I keep wanting to put all of my best produce in those 12-foot beds because I know I'm going to get really good success out of them. So what we've realized is, okay, this isn't working for us. We need to slowly change out all the beds to be taller. So I do recommend that. If you have clay soil like I do, don't get short beds. You really should be doing taller. I don't think you need like super tall. 12 inches seems to be great for me. But if you want to go taller, go for it. But anyways, so we're gonna change this out to 2 long beds. This bed is going to end up being the walking way, the alleyway, and then this bed plus this space and this space plus this bed will be the new 12-foot beds. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Essentially, again, this bed becomes the alleyway. And then we're gonna do away with this bed as well because there's so many weeds that grow in between the space from the T-post and the board that it makes it hard to see all the tomatoes. So speaking of tomatoes, let me go show you that. All right, volunteer marigold, we have tomatoes. It's hard for me to stake up to, and something is eating it because it is close to the fence. I'm wondering if it's a deer that doesn't have to jump the fence. It can just eat it through here, a rabbit or a groundhog. You can see that was taken off. So, huh? Okay, it's gonna go right as bite. Look at that tomato though. That's really nice. But by putting it in the new beds, I feel like I'll have better success, and we will cattle panel those. That's a nice tomato. So anyways, I'm excited about that, but like this is really hard to train on this fence, and I don't want my neighbor to accidentally like nick the tomato plant. And then I also don't want animals eating it, but it's already happening. This actually might be hornworm, so I might have to go out tonight with the black light and look for it. But yeah, it just looks messy, and I want it tidy, and it's not looking tidy. I do have some more tomatoes over here, and there's virtually nothing in this last bed. So some tomatoes, some chickpeas. They're not doing great though. And then this one is the one I've been using most because I had the cover completely protecting it, and then we had a storm that came through and it kind of knocked it over. But oh my gosh, if it'll stay, I can show you guys. I should have, oops. Those are squash vine bug eggs. They're squash bug eggs. So I just go like that, and I let other bugs, oops, sorry. Are you guys sick yet? That was a gunshot, but we live in rural America, so it's fine. So we do have some squashes, which is exciting. I'm trying to watch this like a hawk. Clearly I'm not doing a great job. It's actually not looking too bad. These are susceptible to squash vine borers, so you just want to make sure you don't see any frass coming out. Oh, I see a squash vine bug. Sorry, plant. Anyways, you just want to make sure that you don't see frass. There's another one. Can't tell if it's dead or not. Because the frass is an indication that you have a bug living inside of it, and frass is poop. And then we have another one right here. It's getting choked out by the mint, so I gotta do something with that. And we have another right here, and another right there. So probably tomorrow I need to do a better job of maintaining this. This guy's super small. I bet you there's probably bugs, because they go after the sickly looking ones, especially like this stuff. I would not be surprised. Oops, sorry. So focused on this, I'm not even looking through the camera. But anyways, that's stuff for another time. And then I have cannellini beans, which are one of my favorite. And that replaced where the broccoli was. And this I'm gonna use to line where the future beds will be to keep the weeds down. And there's some sunflowers. So yeah, that is the July garden tour. I'm so sorry it's been a while. It's been a very busy summer, and every time I make a garden tour, I just feel like it's not good. I feel like my camera is like shaky, or I'm like zoomed in too much, and I just need to let go of perfectionism, especially when I compare myself to people that have been doing this for years and have like vlogging equipment, because this is literally just my phone and whatever space I have on my phone. So for those of you that watched it to the end, thank you so much. I appreciate you supporting me through this, and I hope that I've given you some encouragement for the garden. Hopefully I'll get a greenhouse tour going soon, and or a chicken coop tour coming soon, but I definitely need to do a prepping for fall vlog or video or something like that. So if you're interested, just let me know, because I have a bunch of varieties, especially machata squash, to that family, to work against that squash vine borer. Anyways, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.